everyone, and welcome to the Evolution of You podcast. This is episode 16. So, if you're enjoying this podcast, I would love and really appreciate it if you could subscribe and like this podcast to help us grow. In today's episode, I am so excited because I get to talk to Crystal Swartz, who is a newly single mom and entrepreneur, creating a business teaching women how to reconnect with themselves using nature. As a nature lover myself, I have experienced the healing powers of being in nature. And so I was super, super excited to have this conversation with her, and it did not disappoint. So I really, really hope you enjoy it. How are you doing today, Crystal?
I'm doing good. A little tired with the time change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
feeling that.
Yes. Oh, I think you froze there for a
Thank you so
second.
much for coming on the Evolution of You. I'm super excited to talk to you today. So you're in Canada. Where in Canada are you?
I'm in Calgary, Alberta.
Calgary. Wow.
hmm
That's far from Denver. But we're in
Yeah,
the
it's
same
not
time zone.
too, we're on the same, I guess the Rocky, because you guys are in the Rocky Mountains as well, right? So the same
Yeah.
mountain range, but
Yeah.
quite south of us.
Yeah. So speaking of Rocky Mountains, you help women with finding reconnecting with their self-worth through nature.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about what you've been building because you're getting ready to launch some courses, some coaching programs. Tell us a bit more about what you've been working on.
Okay, so I never really planned on coaching, but I guess it was like something like my goal is to coach, but hopefully have some sort of membership or other options later as well. So I guess I decided as I was going through this journey of my separation with my kiddo's dad that like I wanted to help other women, and I particularly felt I'm an educator. My background is in education, and I'm not teaching right now. I left teaching and to be more present for my kiddos and stuff because I feel like it's a really big job. And so when I was teaching, though, I did my forest school leadership training because I felt that we have this really big disconnect with nature in general, like as a whole society, like kids, adults. But in that process, like with children, I saw that that need to be out in nature more. And so I did that, and I was teaching kindergarten at the time, and I wanted to get kiddos out and my kids as well. And I just saw that huge impact that nature has on personal well-being, especially for kids. But then moving forward, as I was navigating my own relationship with my now ex, nature really helped me to find some clarity around my next steps. So I guess it kind of became a sanctuary for me while I was trying to figure out it took me a long time to make the decision to leave my partner and my ex-partner. And so nature was a way for me to kind of navigate that and figure that out. And so while I was figuring that out, I also decided to take my forest bathing or forest therapy certification, which I'm still in the process of completing. But I guess then that now has led to me wanting to use nature as a vehicle for supporting women in growing their self-worth and just being a part of nature. And I guess part of it too was I also took my kids to Costa Rica in September for 5 months. So not just
Wow.
yeah, so not just being in first it was the forest, and then that led to the I guess the beaches and the ocean of Costa Rica and the jungle, and it's just such a profound effect, I think, on our well-being. And I know that it is. I don't think that it is. I see how it yeah, how it can be a great, like just such a good sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It just is
no,
yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And I was so excited to talk to you about this because I mean, being in Colorado, I'm a mountains girl. I love being in the forest, and it was really helpful for me as well. I'm a bow hunter. I like to do elk hunting, but I mean, just going out and hunting, and it's not even about harvesting the animal. It's just like being in the forest and just understanding how everything is so alive and hearing the bugs around you and the chipmunks. And it's just so healing, feeling the sun on your face and being in the trees. And there's just something about it. So I was super excited to talk to you. I went and about all of what's going into it. So tell me a little bit more about your nature healing certificate that you're getting. Like what's involved in it?
So basically, I guess forest therapy or forest bathing is it's just taking you out into nature, but it's slow moving through nature. It's not through the forest or however, whichever way you want to embrace that. But typically it's through the forest at this, like within this program that I'm taking. But I wanted to bring other pieces of nature into it, but it's just like slow walking through. It's very meditative, very mindful movement through nature where you're connecting with nature on a different level, like not just, taking a hike or running through the forest or like in those ways, or going on a bike ride, or, it's very, very slow moving through the forest, but it's like, taking in using all of your senses to take in the forest or to take nature in, listening to the sounds you hear, smelling different scents. It's just a very chill, relaxed way of being in nature and not rush. And then it allows us to like really slow down our nervous system, slow our bodies down, slow our minds down. And I think we really need that right now in our lives, because I feel like we're all so much a part of this like hustle culture, go, go, go. And I think people are forgetting to connect with themselves, and nature is a nice way to bring us back to ourselves and focusing in on our needs, and as well as seeing like how we're all so like how the world is so connected, how we're so connected to nature in general. And just with screens and everything else these days, like it just, I think it brings us back to just that like slower pace.
Yeah, disconnecting.
Disconnecting from screens, reconnecting with ourselves, reconnecting with nature, and in turn, I think reconnecting with others in a really positive, profound way.
Absolutely. And so, through your experiences with your separation and your forest bathing certificate, you have come up with a framework
Yeah.
and you called it Rooted. So,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about Rooted.
Okay. So, it is an acronym. So it stands for Reconnect, Observe, Open, Transform, Empower, and Deepen. And my hope is that it helps women to reconnect with their self-worth by using nature, or through using nature. So I'll just quickly go through. Like I'm using my notes here because I'm.
Please. Yeah, please do.
So reconnect is like about slowing down, tuning into your body, reconnecting with nature as a mirror to yourself. In that module, I guess, within my program, we would practice grounding exercises and simple nature-based rituals to help us rebuild like a sense of presence. Mm-hmm. And then observe would be, we'd like, I guess, just like in nature, there's this power in pausing and noticing. So here we'd work on like self-awareness, recognizing thought patterns, emotions and like cycles that we can get stuck in, um, without judgment and just like, yeah. Because we all know moms can be really hard on ourselves.
Oh yeah.
And then the next module would be that we would move into would be open. And in this step, it's about softening and like releasing resistance and then opening up to like new possibilities. It would involve some inner work around self-compassion and like shifting our limiting beliefs. And then the next module would be transform, where we know transformation doesn't happen overnight, but when we align with nature's slow and steady rhythms, change can become sustainable.
Oh
And
no.
then that's where we would integrate.
I lost you for just a
Oh,
second. So
sorry, that's okay.
yeah, go back
Um,
to
transform.
transform.
Okay. So, yeah, so transformation doesn't happen overnight. And we know that. But
Yeah.
if we can align with nature's slow and steady rhythms, change can become more sustainable. And then this is where I would hope to integrate some new habits and mindsets. And then in empower, the next module, it would be about like reclaiming our voice, setting boundaries, and knowing your worth and growing your worth. And then I would help guide women into their building their confidence and knowing that we have a power to shape our own lives, that it's not that we don't need other people trying to tell us how to live our lives. And I think that's probably something that we have all these outer voices that come into our heads a lot. So I
Yeah.
hope to like give women that empowerment to know that we have that power to create our what's next. And then the last module is about deepen, and it's about how like this final step is kind of in creating long-term nature connected practices to help stay grounded and resilient, but also to deepen our connection with ourselves and in turn deepen our connection with others and with nature as well. And so yeah.
So, are you envisioning once you launch this program that this you would come together and coach with people and then go out into nature and put these things into practice, or how do you envision this working between the people that your clients and yourself?
Well, my hope is I would love to reach as many people as possible with this framework and this so eventually like I think that I would love to make a course out of it and help support other women to get into nature in different parts of the world. But in where I am right now is I would like to start with coaching some women, and even if I can't be present with them, like the goal would be that we would get out into nature on some calls like that. We're not just staying in, in on screens, and that's, that is kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of feels like being like doing the screen work here is I would like to actually get out into nature. Sorry.
Absolutely. That's okay. Absolutely. I love this framework because I think it can, I mean, no matter what you've been through in life, you can use the rooted framework. Women, males, like everybody, kids can use this rooted framework because, like you said earlier, it is such a fast-paced, screen-driven environment. We really, even if you just take some time inside of your house and try to reconnect with yourself, it's not the same as going out and being in nature and getting that fresh air. And there's just a different vibe that you get from
Yeah, like
being.
no distractions.
Yeah, and just time to sit. And it can be really uncomfortable at
Oh
first to
yeah.
sit without the distractions.
It really
Have
can.
you found that? Have you found that in your uh, nature bathing training? Do you
Yeah,
struggle
like
with that at
that.
all?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like it is, I mean, no matter what, like when we think of meditating and those kinds of things too, I feel like it is very difficult to just be in our own bodies and our own minds and like not having those distractions to keep. And I think that's a big part of what I want to help people move away from is like we're safe in our own bodies, we're safe in our own minds, and that it's okay to, feel all those feelings and to slow down. But it can be, yes, it can definitely be really uncomfortable.
Yeah, because when you do slow down, you have those painful thoughts, and having the time to work through those painful thoughts and think through them is challenging for a lot of people, I think.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
tell me more about your time in Costa Rica, because I feel like the jungle would be such a different nature experience than the forest or the beach
Yeah.
even.
Oh, yeah. Like it was very different. It's very, like it's much warmer in a lot of ways when I was there. But also, like different sense, like your senses feel different there. There's different sounds, there's different, it just was a different experience for sure. I, for me, a big part of that is I grew up in Ontario, Canada, where we have lots of lakes and access to water. And I think, and then I've been in Calgary for 18, almost 19 years. So I felt like Costa Rica was a very different sensory experience, but also gave me access to, and Ontario has amazing forests. Canada is very, diverse in nature. But yeah, it was a definitely different experience. Like just walking barefoot on the beach every day, swimming in the ocean. Like it's not something you do like that I have access to every day here. I think it was really healing for my kids and I. Like it was quieter. I'm in Calgary's a pretty big city. Like I would sit at night sometimes and I would just I was actually doing a house sitting gig for a little while and it was in the jungle and it was just this different, like you could see all of the stars and there was no light pollution and even the noises of the jungle at night are very different. And it was just so quiet. Like there wasn't that, that ongoing noise like of traffic and those sorts of things. So yeah, it was a very different experience and I miss it. I really miss it. I'm hoping to go back at some point in the near future, but and my kids really loved it too. It was a different experience. The other piece to that too was like people there.
Do you feel like there were different parts of you that healed? Oops, sorry.
Nope, that's okay. It froze for a second on my end. Yeah, definitely. Like I was gonna say, like it's just a much slower pace there. They have that Pura Vida, that's their saying, Pura Vida lifestyle, where it's like they don't have that rush, go culture where, so I healed and coming back here was very difficult because I'm trying to re-navigate into an environment where everybody's always busy. We had established a lovely community when we were there and trying to come back here. And I have amazing friends and, people in my life here that I want to see, but it's like everybody's going all the time, and like I homeschool my kids right now. So so it is different because people there were homeschooling as well. So yeah, it was definitely a different kind of healing but now being back here, I feel this like ramped up, amped up. Yeah, hard to slow down. And then being in winter too, it is harder to get into nature when like my body isn't happy about it at all. It's like,
yeah. So what strategies have you used to navigate that recently?
Well, and I was lucky because I missed a really big cold snap when I came back. So, but I think I'm just trying to be like take what I can. So it's just the other day I went for a walk on the path near my house and it's not like it's still in a city, but it was very I just slowed down and thought like we need to stop even in those moments, like find
Yeah.
a space that feels connected with nature. It doesn't have to be going out into the forest. It can be literally opening your door and taking in a deep breath. And I did that this morning because we got a bunch of snow last night. So just like taking a moment and smelling, like it smells different. It sounds different when the snow falls. Did I
Yeah.
freeze there for a second?
You did, but it came through.
Okay. But yeah, so but using your senses still. And the other day it was sunny and it was warmer, and I went out for a walk, and ended up in this spot where there were all these different birds. Just, I don't know why, but they were just surrounding where I was. So I stopped to just listen to them, because there's just even healing in listening to birds chirp. And yeah, so just taking little moments where I can to kind of connect with nature and reconnect, and just stopping and slowing down.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's so helpful. Even like on the sunny days, I just like to go sit on the front porch and sit in the sun with my eyes closed
Yeah.
and just take a minute to breathe is so helpful.
Hmm.
And like you said, listening to the birds chirp and the dogs bark, even though the dogs barking can get annoying sometimes, just taking a minute to realize that it's not all work and responsibility.
Yeah, totally.
So, if you could give 3 pro tips that somebody could implement immediately,
Mhm.
what to better their lives, what would they be?
Okay, so I have some notes on that too, because you gave me the
Sure.
questions ahead of time. But one would be to create like a very simple daily ritual for yourself. I think that's really important, even if it's just like 5 minutes of deep breathing, or on your balcony or your front porch, or um, maybe, or even just like journaling with your morning coffee or tea, just taking
That's my
5 minutes, even
favorite.
5 minutes, right? Yeah. And make space to kind of reconnect with yourself. And like I said, even just spending, like finding, yeah, just a moment, but a ritual
It
that's
doesn't have to be
happening,
long. Yeah.
yeah, on a daily basis. Another one would be to like ask and accept help, because I think that's something that we all can struggle with.
Okay, you froze
I
again.
think I froze
So the
again.
second
Yeah.
one would be what?
Like ask and accept help, because I really have struggled with that for a long time. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so being able to, like, we're not meant to do all of this alone,
No.
and we live in an environment and in a world where the expectation is for some reason that we all should be able to do it alone, but that's not what we've evolved from. Like, so I think it's just making sure you're asking and accepting of
Oh, that one hits home with me because I'm learning how to ask
I am
and
too.
receive help. But it's one way that I like to reframe that is like, I love helping
Mhm.
people. So allowing others to help you if they offer is like helping them because they should probably like helping people too. So
And I'm the same way too. And so sometimes we get in our heads about that, right? But I've started to think like, well, I would do it for them, and I would happily do it for somebody else. And so I'm not the only person, including yourself, right? Like that is willing and able and wants to, right? Like, so
absolutely.
yeah. And then the last one would be to spend time in nature daily. If even if it's just like, because it does have a way of resetting your nervous system. And so if it's a short walk, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, sitting by a tree if you can, if the weather permits, if you can, like grounding in nature, like take your shoes off for a few minutes. And I mean, like I said, it's a little cold right now for a lot of us in these areas, but or like I just did this morning and I was talking about earlier, just opening the door and just taking in a deep breath and really smelling what it smells like, and really engaging your senses. Let the sun shine on your face for a few minutes. Sit by a plant in your house if you have a plant. yeah, just somehow connect with nature, and then so you can become more grounded and present. Well, I think
Oh
we
no.
froze there for a second.
Yeah. I was like,
Did you get
cool.
that? I just said just to help you feel more grounded and present.
Perfect. Yeah, that was the part that I missed. Awesome. So the podcast is called The Evolution of You. How do you feel like you've evolved up until this point as a person? And where do you want to evolve to in the future?
Well, I think I have evolved in many, many ways, especially in the last few years. But in some ways, it's like trusting myself and my feelings, and yeah, that's a big one. Embracing imperfections, like everything doesn't have to look perfect or be for perfect. It's okay if it's not. Um, and I'm now creating a life on my own terms. Like there's not I'm trying to really get out of that people pleasing mentality, setting boundaries around how I want to live, not letting other people try to control that. That's been a big part of my past. And like not always seeking external validation to feel like connected and at home with myself. I I'm still working on it, but these are ways that I'm changing. But like being able to just know innately that I am worthy, I'm okay, that I don't need other people to tell me these things.
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
And that's some deep work.
it really is. And it takes a long time. It takes a lot of time and but it is healing and
So where do you want to evolve to in the future? Where do you see yourself going?
Well, I'd love to get this coaching program out there or create a course around this program because I do think it can, like you said, it can be for anybody, really, truly. Um, because I actually think it would be a really great program, even for young women, young girls, like just teenagers oh, I think I froze again.
Yep. It's a really great program, even for
Like even for young women, teenagers, like just that, getting into nature and then because they are so caught up in, especially teenagers, right, in that external validation and, being able to, so, my goal is to expand and be, and grow this program in a way that it can, reach many people. I hope to be part of some retreats and maybe planning or like I said, being a part of some retreats in the future. And then
yes.
just like, I think live like doing things that feel like I'm living more authentically and in flow. And keep doing things that feel like aligned with myself and not forcing things.
I absolutely love it. And I want to stay connected during this because I have a lot of the same goals
Yeah, I think we're in a very similar
and
journey.
struggles.
Yeah.
So where can people find you if they want to learn more?
Well, I'm still like it just like this is all new, but
Yeah.
I think so I have I have an Instagram page. It's Crystal Swords Official. And that's where I'm, kind of building some of this out. Um, and I do plan like I will post some different, like, I guess, what would you call them? Like, I have a journal that I'm going to be sharing and a 7-day challenge that I would like to help people get back into nature. So those are coming up. Those are coming up right away.
Yeah, sneak peek.
Yeah.
Awesome. So follow you on Instagram. I'll make sure I put that in the podcast description so people can follow you and stay up to date with your courses and your challenges and retreats and all of these things that you have up and coming.
Perfect.
So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
I
you for
can't wait
having
to
me.
watch you evolve.
And same, I am excited. Oh, we froze
Oh
again.
no, you froze
We
again.
froze again. Yeah, I
Okay,
can't wait
there
to
we go.
just
It's
watch
back.
both our journeys. Like, I think, yeah, I'm excited to see how things go for both of us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good.